Welcome to Tea Time with Danica. I know I've been a little absent this week from Substack, and good reason for that. I have been fully immersed in RIM training this week. And for those of you who don't know what RIM is, it is a healing process called Regenerating Images in Memory, created by Dr. Deb Sandella. And it is the most powerful healing tool that I have had used in my life. It provided so much big healing for me, and it was something I always knew I wanted to learn how to do. And life happened, I got divorced, all the things, and then I kind of had my re-entry post-divorce, and then this year was just the right time to finally learn and take this training. And so back in January, we had a week-long online training, and then this week we did a week-long in-person training. And so it occurred to me this morning as I was having a little bit of a slow morning, slow start, because this morning we don't have to start until 10, which is great. I got to sleep in. Is that I haven't actually had a day off since May 11th, because May 12th, I drove out to my family's, and I think that wasn't the last tea time. The last tea time was when I was in Portland. Like, all the days are blurring together because I've literally not had a day off. I've either been traveling or working, or traveling and working. And then last week I was at the conference. I came home, I worked one day, and then I immediately went into RIM training. And so it's been a bit of a blur because, it's May 24th. So tomorrow will be my first day off since May 11th, to where I can just rest. And that's crazy. I don't recommend doing it that way. But what I'll also say is that even though RIM is work, it's also play. It's also fun. And it's a different kind of rest, and it's a lot of learning. I've just been so deeply immersed in the human psyche and in healing and in all of the different places where we need to find that healing, sometimes that we're not even aware of. I've had some pretty powerful sessions yesterday. Actually, I've had a powerful session every single day. Like yesterday, I came up with something that I hadn't ever realized before. I do in every session, but this was just super powerful. But anyway, I am getting ahead of myself. So today's tea, and see, look at me. I use my glass tea. You know, it's so funny. I intended every time to start using different pieces so that we could all, I could enjoy my really nice tea pieces, but I'm really loving being able to show you in something that you can see the tea that I'm enjoying today. And so this, look at what a lovely color. It's a green tea. And so this particular tea is called Guardian Angel. I don't need to show it to you too much because it's in Croatian. And this is when I was in Croatia 2 years ago. I picked this up, and this is my thing that I like to do when I travel. I like to buy tea, and that becomes my souvenir of the place. And so that's what I was doing this a week ago. It's so weird to think that it's been that long because it feels like yesterday and it feels like 100 years ago. But that is one of the things that I was doing, is I'm planning my trip that I leave on in less than 2 weeks. So that is exciting and crazy and stressful all rolled into one. But anyway, so this tea, I love the tea places that have the samples, because this did have a sample, and a lot of the places, they'll let you smell the tea or something, or if you're really keen to taste it, they're usually pretty good about letting you taste it as well. Even if they don't have it available specifically as a sample, they'll find a way for you to try it. But anyway, this is a green tea with goji and strawberries. And I want to show you this because it's so beautiful. And so if you look at these tea leaves. Look at how beautiful and perfect they are. And you can see, they've got the actual little strawberry pieces Another little strawberry piece. Like you can literally see, I know you can't on the video, but I can. It's literally the pieces of the strawberry seed on the strawberry. So you know it's a real seed. In here, there's a goji berry as well. And I just love, people ask, well, what is the big deal about loose leaf tea? And so, as I'm going through this tea, like you can see they're actually the big giant tea leaves. And what you often get in the tea bags, even the high quality teas, is you're getting like the crumbled mashed pieces. I mean, just look at how beautiful this is. And like I said, I like both kinds of tea. I do use tea bags a lot for convenience. I've been all week long, my go-to tea, I love the yogi teas. And so every day, since I am with people in a close environment and we're hugging and we're like all over, like there's a lot of germ possibilities here. And so I've just been drinking like a healthy tea, like immune boosting kind of thing. And yogi teas are great for that. I love that. And if you want to if you're, herbs and things, and I'm trying to learn about that as well, you can also just like brew your own little herbs into your own tea. And so, there's a place for everything, and there's a place for every kind of tea and every kind of experience. Like I said, I have been just go, 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 go for the past couple of weeks. And it's been a lot. I haven't had a full day rest and recharge for 2 weeks. And so far I'm okay. Tomorrow it's a holiday. I am not planning on doing anything. Well, I might go grocery shopping because my refrigerator is so empty right now. The first day of the retreat, I took some of the other retreat participants who are staying at Airbnbs and things, but they're using Uber and stuff, so they don't have cars. I offered to take them to Trader Joe's. And it was so funny because, like, are you sure it's not an imposition? I'm like, look, I have no groceries in my house. I need groceries too. So I could take you with me. And so I went ahead and we went to Trader Joe's. And so I bought things for lunches and dinner that are just quick, easy things, which has been really good because I'm getting home like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm spent. And so it was nice to have the convenience foods. Although I will say that first night I bought myself a really nice Trader Joe's meal that in the refrigerated section. I was like, okay, I can heat this up tonight, and then it'll be a couple nights worth of meals. This will be perfect. It was so disgusting. I have never said that about a Trader Joe's meal. Usually I've enjoyed all of them. This was so disgusting. I threw it out. And then I realized, okay, well, what am I going to eat the rest of the week? And so I did end up getting Uber Eats, and it was a really big portion. And so that ended up being my dinner for the nights that I planned on having that Trader Joe's meal. And I want to share that with you because I think sometimes we have so much shame around convenience food or picking something up quickly at a restaurant or having DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever that is. And sometimes you really just have to honor your body and honor yourself. And if you're not in the mood to cook or you're so spent, I mean, I would come home every night this week. I came home, I just kind of like collapsed onto the couch and I rested. And some nights I read, some nights I watched some TV, but I didn't have anything in me to do anything else. Seriously, my suitcase from when I came home Sunday night, it's still in the middle of my kitchen floor. And it is like my backpack I shoved it to a corner of my living room floor. My one couch is just covered in stuff from my trip because I haven't had the energy to do anything, and that's okay. And I want to give you permission that if you're in that busy season, it's totally okay. Don't be mad at yourself or think that you have to do something differently. And this trip was actually super stressful. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you all, because I think I told you in the last Tea Time with Danica that I didn't know what I was coming home to. because there was a fire in my building while I was gone. I received a phone call from my neighbor saying, hey, just to let you know, there was a fire last night. Everything's okay. Your unit's okay, but there's a lot of smoke damage and things like that and all the stuff. So I came back. My place is fine. First of all, I should just put that out there. Everything here is fine. All my stuff is fine. My apartment, it's fine. So when you walk up the stairs, so it's like an outside like entry to our units. When you walk up the stairs outside to go to my place, you can really smell the smoke. And actually last night it was stronger than ever. And I think that's because the people, they have the remediation people like getting the smoke out of the units that are filled with, that are smoke smelling. So the remediation people are doing that. And so that's making the outdoor common area really stink. But my place is fine. There's no smoke odor in my place. However, my door did get damaged. And what I know now is that the fire department went through to clear all the units in this building just to make sure everyone was safe and also to see if there was any smoke or anything unsafe from the fire. And they were trying to break into my unit because I wasn't answering the door. And then my neighbor came with the key. And so my door is damaged from the fire department. It's still usable. There's no problem. But there is some damage to my door. And now I've noticed that it kind of sticks. So that's it. That's all. Like, isn't that great that I was, just totally taken care of while I was gone and nothing bad happened. I mean, and I saw the unit where there's fire, like one of the windows is boarded over, but it looks like a lot, because he's got like his windows and stuff open, and there wasn't serious damage to his place either. So there are benefits to living right across the street from the fire department, even though sometimes it is annoying to hear those alarms go off. But yay, the fire department came super quick because, again, right across the street, and everything is fine. So really good news there. And I wanted to share what I read on the plane. I love reading on the plane. Yeah, you totally can't see that. I didn't think you would be able to, but I wanted to pull it up just in case. So on the plane, I read The Tide That Swallowed the World by M.D. Cooper. So Mallory is a good friend of mine. She was on our Brave New Bookshelf podcast, and she's talked a lot with Steph and I about her AI process and things like that. And so this book, The Tide That Swallowed the World, is written with AI, and it's so cool because in the book she talks about, in the foreword and the afterword, she talks about her process of using the AI to write this book. And so there are parts that are AI, parts that are written by Mallory, and parts that they did together, and it all flows seamlessly, and you can't tell the difference. And I loved this book. One of the things at the conference I was at, somebody said, how many of you have read an AI book and enjoyed it? And only one hand went up, which I thought was hilarious. And at the time I had not yet, and at the time I was not like part of that discussion. So I didn't join in. Otherwise I would have raised my hand too. But I'm just going to go on record, and I will make a separate post about this eventually. I know some of you are like, Danica, you always say that in your videos and you haven't yet. And I will. But anyway, this was one of the best books I have read all year. And so I want to be very clear about that. This was one of the best books I've read all year. It was partially written by AI, partially written by a human author, and partially the two collaborated. And the whole thing was a collaboration between an author and AI. And this book was so beautiful and so powerful. And it was a really, really good read. I loved it. And I want to share that with you because I think we are going to see more and more of this in the publishing world. We're going to see more and more of these books. And For those of you who are listening and thinking, okay, that makes me even more afraid of AI, here's what I want you to hear about that. The reason this book was so good is because Mallory is a wonderful author. She is super talented as an author. She knows what creates a good story. She knows how to tell a story, how to make you care about a character, how to bring you into a world and make it immersive. She already knows these things. And she's a really great teacher. So she was able to teach the AI how to do that in this book. And so she's also someone who knows how to use AI. Again, this is something I know from the podcast and her being on the podcast. So for those of you who don't listen to our podcast, Brave New Bookshelf, my friend Steph Pajonas and I, we do a podcast every week-ish about using AI for authors. And so Mallory's been a guest for us many, many times. And I've seen her evolution as an author and that evolution of creating these really wonderful stories and also looking at AI when AI came into the picture and saying, okay, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? And how do we use it? How do we use it responsibly? And how do we work with it? And what does this mean? And all of those questions that so many authors wrestle with, but she approached it with a sense of curiosity and a desire to learn. And before she ever wrote this book, she took the time to learn how to work with AI and to learn how to make it work for her. And so for people who are afraid of, oh no, AI is going to take my job, it's going to ruin the world, it's going to take over, in order for it to be good, in order for it to touch people the way this book touched me, it has to have a talented author behind it. And I believe, and I've said this enough publicly, that I really believe that that is where the books are going to go. And I also believe that there is still going to be room for authors who don't use AI and for their stories to still be out there in the world. It isn't either or, it's both. It's all of that. And we're still learning what that looks like and how to make it work. And just be patient with the process. And so that's what I've learned this past week as I've been really deep into this immersive training for healing and for going through all of the stuff that's been holding us back. We had a day where we were asked, let's work with your biggest trauma. What's your biggest trauma? Let's work with that. And that was big and it was hard. And weirdly, it was not what I thought it was going to be. Totally different because I just trust my emotional operating system to bring me to where I needed that healing. And so it's been a really wild ride. But the thing that keeps coming up and we keep getting taught is this idea of trusting the process. And that we all just need to trust the process of whatever is happening in our lives. And I've been talking to a friend of mine who is going through some stuff. And what I've realized is that part of what has gotten me through so many hard times is that I do have this weird, unwavering belief that everything is going to work out. And sometimes I don't know how, and sometimes I'm really stressed out about the I don't know how part. But as I look back and I recognize that maybe things didn't work out the way I wanted them to, and maybe it was harder than I thought it would be, but everything has worked out. And I'm really happy about that. And it gives me even more hope and more optimism for the future. And we live in a really tough time right now. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know how it's going to work out. But I know it will. It will. And that is something that I think is really beautiful to hold on to right now. And so, whatever that is that you're going through, get that cup of tea, take a moment to admire. Seriously, I'm so in love with looking at these tea leaves and just recognizing just the beauty and being able to see all the things that are here. And that I also used way too many tea leaves for this tea, by the way, and that's okay. But to just take that time to notice. When was the last time that you made a cup of tea and looked at the tea leaves and really noticed what was happening, what was going on? And, I'm told, there's tea readings, and I went to one. I had someone read my tea leaves, and I kind of did this thing where then, they look at like how the sediment comes in the bottom, and supposedly that charts my future or tells you something about me. I don't know. And, but these tea leaves don't necessarily tell me how it's going to work out, just that it will. And, it's a little more nuanced than that. Like I said, it was a while ago since I had that tea leaf reading, and I did it mostly out of curiosity. But hold on to that hope. And wherever you find that hope, if it's in the tea leaves or in drinking a cup of tea, or yesterday I went to the park and just sat in the park and ate a donut, and it was really great. Whatever that is for you, I want you to take the time to do that today. Like I said, I get no rest today. So this is my little rest time. I'm going to drink my tea and get myself a little something to eat, and then head on over to my final day of training and say goodbye for now to all these amazing people that I've spent the past week with. And then tomorrow I will rest, and I'm going to find something really wonderful to do for myself. And I hope you do the same. Have a great day, and I will talk to you again next week.